Hello YouTube and fellow Star Wars collectors. On this episode of Toys Are the Way, we'll be taking a look at the latest addition to the Vintage Collection Deluxe figure lineup, the Imperial Armored Commando from The Mandalorian. Welcome back everyone and channel members, and kicking off the very first action figure review for the new collection room, we have the Imperial Armored Commando. Definitely very happy to get back in the swing of things and start reviewing some figures. I will say that the collection room's coming along kind of slowly. I've been, pretty busy with a lot of other things and just moving the entire place in general. But as you can see, I have some good stuff going on in terms of figuring out my layouts, and slowly but surely I'll get everything set up. But I am very excited to finally add some more figures to the collection, and the Imperial Armored Commando is something that I really wanted to see as soon as we saw them in Season 3 of The Mandalorian. But with all that being said and done, don't forget to smash a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, or even become a channel member, and let's take a closer look at the packaging and figure. Taking a look at our vintage style packaging, we have the Star Wars and Mandalorian logo naturally displayed up top, followed by Imperial Armored Commando on a red name bill color. We have a really nice image of the character taken directly from the show, looking really good with his blaster rifle drawn and the Kenner logo down below. And I will say that the red light on his chest readout helps tie in all these red design features, which is really nice. And then we have a nice all new from the ground up figure, looking absolutely brilliant with a number of accessories on a bubble. Now I will say this is unfortunately on the deluxe size card back, which is an inch wider than a standard vintage collection card, and collectors aren't exactly very fond of this decision that Hasbro's made, but hopefully they're listening to the feedback. On the back, he is VC 366 in the line, Imperial Armored Commando, and we have a small description of the character, followed by the Vintage Collection logo and additional images of the card and figure. So despite the size of the deluxe size card back, I am really liking this one. I'm a big fan of Imperial Troopers, and this is going to look really good on my carded collection, but I will say it would look even better if it was the standard card size. Taking a look at the Imperial Armored Commando out of the packaging and focusing on the helmet and sculpt, you can see that Hasbro has delivered once again another brilliant Imperial Trooper. I think this one looks great, lots of different paint applications all over this helmet, and they all look nice and clean, which is always great. I don't see any kind of like overspray or any sloppy lines or anything like that, so that is really good to see. This is also the hard plastic swappable head. There is, not a portrait under there. It's not the soft plastic bucket that you can just slip on and off. Now you can pop this off of the barbell neck joint and put a random head on there if you choose to do so, but yeah, really good stuff here. I like the look of this trooper quite a bit. And then if you just take a look at some of these other paint applications on his chest readout and stuff, they've delivered some pretty nice detail here. And I think for a deluxe figure, they've treated this one quite well in terms of the paint applications and just all of that detail throughout. So really good stuff there, Hasbro. The Imperial Armored Commando comes with a total of 6 accessories: the riot shield, electro baton, blaster rifle, blaster pistol, vibroblade, and jetpack. Moving on to the articulation, the Imperial Armored Commando has a lot of what I like to see on a modern Star Wars 3.75 action figure. We have those wonderful barbell hip systems, which are just great to use. We have a swivel at the thigh, which is fantastic. We have a pretty decent bend at the knee there. And then, of course, the rocker ankles. So really good lower leg articulation like we've been seeing on all these new figures in the Vintage Collection recently. So great stuff. Moving on to the upper arm area, we have a pretty good bend at the elbow there. It's pretty much 90 degrees. I will say that I wish it went back a little further. I'll say that, it's just better for posing the rifle and stuff like that. And I don't know, a lot of our figures recently have just been right at 90 instead of going past. So a little bit unfortunate, but still a pretty good range of motion there. We of course have a hinge at the wrist, so he can point the blaster pistol like that, which is great. And also the blaster pistol is able to go into the holster and stay nice and snug, so you won't have to worry about losing that accessory. Moving on to the shoulder area, we have great range of motion there, of course. We have the soft plastic shoulder armor, which won't hinder any of that range of motion, so that's great. And then moving to the upper torso, we have a pretty nice crunch here. He can go forward and back pretty nice, side to side. I will say he starts to reach a certain limit here because it starts getting kind of tight. And then I do find it a little frustrating that this lower abdomen part actually doesn't turn at all. this is one giant torso piece that connects with the crotch or whatever, and just there's no articulation here, no split or anything. And I find that a little bit frustrating. The more articulation, the better. Just, when they're trying to, like, kind of get certain battle poses and stuff like that. But moving on to the head, we have a little bit of motion there, not much with that barbell neck joint. I will say it would be nice if he could look a little further up, just when he's like maybe flying in his jetpack mode. That would be kind of nice to get that kind of pose, but you can always kind of take the head off and put something in there that's a little smaller, that has a little bit more flex when it comes to that. And then moving on to the back, we have that Imperial Armored Commando jetpack, which we've seen previously with that last Din Djarin release. So that comes off, and it is, of course, the standardized peg system, which we see on a lot of these newer vintage collection figures. So you can put a different jetpack in here if you choose to do so, but snaps in nice and snug, and that is just overall great. So I think this is a really nice trooper. It's going to be a great addition to our Mandalorian lineup, and I'm always here for more Imperial troopers. Once again, Hasbro delivers another impressive vintage collection trooper to add to our hefty Imperial ranks. The Mandalorian Imperial Armored Commando is what I would consider a solid deluxe figure release. Not only is the Commando 100% newly tooled, which helps continue to expand the tooling library for the 375 line, but the pack-in value is actually worthy of a deluxe label and pricing. Fully loaded with all the modern articulation that fans expect on these latest and greatest 375 masterpieces, such as ball-jointed hips, swivels at the thigh, hinges at the shoulders, elbows, knees, wrists, and lastly rocker ankles. The Imperial Armored Commando can easily achieve a variety of action poses as they lay down suppressing fire and attempt to seize air superiority during the battle for Mandalore. The accessories consist of a jetpack with the now standardized peg hole, blaster pistol, rifle, vibroblade, electro baton, and riot shield, all of which are able to interact quite well with the action figure, but I must say that the hands and their grip could be a bit better, as the weapons are not very secure in the hands of the Commando due to the bulky open grip and slim profile of the rifle, knife, and baton handle. I hope you've enjoyed this video and taking a look at this latest addition to our vintage collection shelf displays, the Imperial Armored Commando from The Mandalorian. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And don't forget to drop a like on this video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. It really helps and is always greatly appreciated. Thanks everyone, and may the Force be with you.